Hello everybody, welcome to Soapbox Slam, where I get on my soapbox and talk about the things that I see going on. And I'm on my soapbox right now. I'm actually on my lunch break, but this morning I had time to read an article about and look at the new proposed stadium for the Chicago Bears. Now, this post isn't necessarily for everybody. It's for the Chicago Bears fans and the city of Chicago. A while back, I did a post. You can see it on YouTube or look back in earlier posts on my profile where I had posted about what I think the Chicago Bears ought to do. Back when they first bought the Arlington racetrack, and were proposing to do that, and those plans were halted, and the Bears under Kevin Warren have been receptive to many places proposing the stadium to be there. In my previous post, and I'll say it now, I don't think that there's anything better than Chicago investing the money to create a state-of-the-art, phenomenal stadium right on the lakefront. It was a really cool post that I did about it, and I still maintain that. I think that it would be a big mistake if Chicago, as it's done in its history, designed things to be a part of the skyline and a part of the essence of the city, right? And this would be a golden opportunity to create a phenomenal kind of worldwide, state-of-the-art, multi-sports arena stadium that is home for the Chicago Bears. And according to the plans that were just released, I believe they were released last week or earlier this week. But I read the article yesterday, and this morning I finished the article, and the proposed stadium is right. Like, that's what I'm talking about. What they have proposed for the stadium is really, 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 really fantastic. It's beautiful to the eye. It's beautiful to the skyline and the lakefront. It considers the architecture. It looks simple but yet stately. It's exactly what needs to be done. Now, having said all that, I'm very proud of all of that. Absolutely 100% proud of it. I'm proud that the city of Chicago is willing to put up a certain amount, and even the Bears organization is actually willing to put up 70% of this is what I read in the article. The Bears organization is willing to put up 70% of the production of this stadium and this multiplex, right? Absolutely. The question is now, where do we get the other 30%? And every dollar counts, of course, but the mayor's like, well, we can give you 2%. Okay, where are we going to get the other 28%? And the proposal is to go to the state and ask the state of Illinois to fill in the rest, right? Well, okay, but and one of the things is that they wanted to put in there a publicly funded or a publicly traded hotel, right? Great idea. The Chicago hotel, publicly invested, publicly traded hotel that's on the property for the sports arena. I mean, yes, absolutely. I totally agree. However, I still cannot co-sign for now, don't get me wrong. I love that they created the stadium, right? I love that the stadium's there. I love that it's on the Chicago skyline. I love all of that, right? What I do not love, and what I have huge contention with, is relying on the other 28% to come from the taxpayers as a forced tax. And then on top of that, because they raise a tax on the city of Chicago or whatever the case may be, that I would be, as a resident of Illinois and resident of the city, that I would be required to continue to pay this increased tax to pay for a stadium that is only going to need money, because it's not like they're going to tax us just for the money and then take away the tax, right? They're going to tax us and make that a part of our permanent tax bracket. And then as soon as the stadium is built, it's still going to stay, we're still going to stay taxed with that, because these politicians rather steal our money from us, as opposed to, okay, if we need to raise revenue, we're going to raise it through tax. Okay, we'll increase the tax just to raise the revenue that we need, and then we'll decrease the tax when we've gotten to the dollar amount that we want, right? No, they don't do that, right? That would be too gracious to the taxpayer, right? You know, they think that they, being politicians in the city of Chicago, think they're entitled to that money after they've raised the tax and raised the revenue for whatever project it is that needs to be raised. So I cannot co-sign this idea. Now, you want to ask the state for some money? I think the state should chip in for sure, especially if the state will chip in enough money to maintain the idea and concept of this being a state-of-the-art architectural staple to the city of Chicago. Absolutely, the state ought to chip in for that. Whether people in the countryside of the state of Illinois want to pay for that or not, I mean, you know, I get so sick and tired of all these people, you know, who just want to bash something. It's so negative Nancy's everywhere. You know, I mean, I work with some of these guys too. You know, they live out on the countryside, outside the city. Oh, I don't give my money to the city and fuck the city and da-da-da. Well, you know what? Fuck you too. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if any of you people who see my posts that I work with and everything else, who live on the countryside, and I hear you say that kind of stuff, I've never said it to your face. I'm saying it now, and I'll say it to your face if you confront me. Fuck you too. Man, that's stupid. The cities and the countries need each other, because all these countries, well, I mean, maybe, I mean, the corporations all own all the farmland now. But who the fuck are you farmers going to sell all your food to if we didn't live in the city? It's called symbiosis. We need each other. The cities need the countrysides, and the countrysides need the city. So quit bashing us. Also, if we didn't have these fucking cities, you country boys wouldn't be leaving your country homes, driving into the city every morning for jobs, and then turning around and going back home. Especially if the cities did things like said, no, we're only going to hire construction workers who live in the city. Your asses will be stuck out in the country, dependent on the country to give you a job, which you ain't going to get no jobs. So watch what you fucking say. Anyways, my point here, and I'm not going on that tangent, I'm going on this tangent about the Chicago Bears stadium. I cannot co-sign for creating a tax revenue. Why don't you try, what I don't understand is, try a revenue fundraiser. Try it. Also, you know, they could do a phenomenal thing in raising money if they had X amount of designated seats as a raffle that people could buy in a part of, as a fundraiser, to you know, win tickets to the Bears games, or be season holder ticket holders for the Bears season. They could raise revenue this way. They can raise money this way. They can create anything. I mean, they can create a treasury bond or a city bond that, made up or not, that, you know, if every citizen of the every citizen in Chicago donated $2 or purchased this or $5 city bond and everything else, it would go to the stadium and they would get a certificate that's saying, you know, issuing, you are a contributor to the Bears stadium, da da da. I mean, there's so many ways to raise revenue other than just creating some sort of permanent tax where these lecherous, vampire, blood-sucking fuckers in Congress and representatives and aldermen are so desperate for, I mean, whores, slutty-ass whores for money. Get your hands out our pockets and quit trying to mandate you getting more money, and be more creative and raising revenue for it. You would incorporate, as opposed to mandating some sort of tax on the people, why don't you get the people involved and love they already love Chicago. It's not a hard sell. Do some sort of city fundraiser for the stadium. Get the whole fucking city involved. Do you know how much love you would create by doing that? You know how much pride you would create in doing something like that? Just taxing people is stupid. You want to raise money and you want to create harmony and love among the people and everything else. Make it a fundraiser. Find creative ways for people to donate their money and spend time together, loving each other to raise money, man. Respecting each other as human beings because you love the Chicago Bears. You love the idea of a beautiful stadium and everything else, man. We can have street festivals. We can do all kinds of things to raise that money without having to fucking tax the people. That's a lazy ass fucking way to raise money. We're just gonna tax them. You lecherous ass people. Hey man, Kevin Warren, if you see this, I'm telling you, bro. Kevin Warren, the GM, the operating manager for the Bears, man. Virginia, Mike McCaskey, you see this? Not that you would. But if you did, anybody in the Bears organization, if you see this, man, I'm telling you, man, do not push a tax. Push something like fundraising or whatever else that will unite the city behind the team, behind the stadium, and amongst each other. Create that kind of system, man. Do you know how much less crime we would create by creating this kind of thing? Loving thy neighbor. I'm telling you, this is God's will. This is how we get it done in a righteous way, man. Come on. Get your shit together. Don't just tax us. Come up with something else.